Hey, what's up, y'all? It's cracking its deep. About to react to this vid by Degenerocity. It's titled Tipping Culture. I've talked about this before. It's always very controversial for whatever reason, but I do not be tipping like that. I do sometimes. Well, that's a lie. I tip 99.9% now on Postmates and Uber Eats. I always tip them like 15%. Because I did hear that they be doing weird shit to your food if you don't tip. And then there was a couple times where my order wasn't picked up. Like someone went to go, I guess, pick it up, but then they canceled and they had to find another driver. And I was like, that's because I'm not tipping. I remember hearing that when you don't tip, that happens. So I do tip them pretty much all the time. And then they have to come up to my apartment. It's just a lot. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But in person, if you're not giving me like great customer service, you're not super nice, and you're not doing anything that I feel like is worthy of me tipping you for, I'm not gonna tip you just because you exist and you're there when you pick this job. I've already talked about this many times. I'm about to beat a dead horse, okay? But that is my viewpoint on tipping. Nobody's gonna change it. I don't care what you do. You can tip who you like. That's your business and your money. But what I'm gonna do with my goddamn money is tip when I feel like someone is going above and beyond. Then yes, I'm gonna tip you. I like you. I'm gonna tip you. You feel me? Otherwise, you just what you want, all right? And you don't come check on me. You don't come refill my water. You don't come see. You know, I gotta flag you down to get the check. If I gotta do all that, I'm tipping you nothing. $0. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say about it, though. Let's watch.
Tipping. A generous act of courtesy you do when you're more than satisfied with the service you were providing. And you give them a little extra money. Usually you give these to your servers at restaurants, your barber, and strippers, just as a way of telling them you're doing a good job. Go get yourself a nice pair of undies. And this overall thing...
I would always tip my lash lady as well. Right now my lashes is struggling because it's a learning curve, but I'm learning how to do my own lashes. So anyway, it's a lot going on right now at the moment. But when I used to go and get my lashes done, I would always tip $20, $30 every time, because she used to hook me up, and I just felt like it was worth it because I used to love my lashes when she was done. But I was doing too much, actually, now that I think about it. That was a big tip. Granted, my fills used to be like 120, so it was already expensive as a service, so that's why I would tip around that amount. But anyway, so it's not that I don't tip ever and I'm just so cheap that I'm hanging on to my money. Like, I tip when I feel like it is deserving.
It's all around the world. It's not exactly a foreign concept for anybody. Tipping is a normal thing, but no place on earth lets it give out the tip more than the US of A. We go X Games mode with the tipping over here, because we be giving everybody tips. We tip our delivery drivers, taxis, bellhops, housekeeping, house movers, bartenders. If you're an in-person service, then most likely you accept tips. Even my homie's last job at the gas station, where he just pumped people's gas, he got over $100 in tips in one day. I didn't even know people tip for that. We love to tip everybody except the homeless. But has it gone too far? Let me go off real quick. But I've been seeing tipping options where I've never seen them before. Like counter services, cashiers. I've never heard of tipping cashiers, but those blue blocks on the iPad beg to differ. One time I went to a concert and I went to the merch booth. I got a hoodie, bro handed me the hoodie, then turned around his iPad for a tip. Now I know these people don't get paid too well, but what in that interaction concurred a tip? Did he slip me $100 bill in a hoodie that I didn't see? I don't think so. So I don't think I'm gonna tip. But I would usually see these in local businesses most of the time, so that's all fine and dandy. But I've heard Starbucks is also doing tips. Now, I don't really go to Starbucks because it's just not for me. I like my coffee a certain way. I like my coffee how I like my men. Long, black, and beer meat. And no offense to you Starbucks employees out there, but I'm gonna treat y'all like McDonald's and Burger King. Like, why would I tip the drive-thru cashier? That just sounds unnecessary. And as long as those restaurants are not asking for tips, then I'm never gonna tip. Don't get no ideas, please. However, I understand why these workers would want to tip, though. They work low-wage jobs, and sometimes they got families to take care of at home. So a tip or two...
I still feel like that is the responsibility of the company that you are working for to pay you more money. A simple fix that's been proposed many times is that these businesses should charge more for the food so that they can then pay you more in your wage. So if you got a burger on the menu and it's $10, Charge $12 for that shit. And then give $2 extra to the employee or whatever you got to do. Work it in the service so that we have to pay for it in order to get the food or whatever the case. And then you pay that to your worker. That's what you do. Because why is it on me to make sure that you're making enough money? You picked this type of job. Like, that's not my responsibility. I don't agree with that.
Would make their lives a little bit easier. But I'm selfish. I'm not trying to tip at Wendy's, bro. But I know that they will eventually come. I can smell it. This is the U.S. We'll somehow incorporate tipping into everything. So the employers can justify why they're paying their employees minimum wage.
Exactly.
And whenever someone doesn't tip, they get mad at us instead of the business that's giving them a non-living wage. That's why tipping is super pushy.
These billion-dollar fucking companies y'all working for, how you mad at me? They choosing to pay you scraps. The fuck? Y'all need to riot in the streets, okay? Y'all need to boycott these businesses and force them to pay you more. But that's your gripe is not with me. And you giving me stank service, you think I'm about to tip you? I'm not.
So restaurants, for example, can pay their waiters low salaries to encourage them to aim for tips. So the waiters have to be as upstanding, top of their tippy toes, holly jolly of a worker as possible to try to get ends meet. So the customer can walk away feeling happy about their experience, the owner of the restaurant being happy because of the profit and good look of the business, while the waiters walk away with a $2 tip and food stamps for a salad.
Yeah.
Or at least that's just my theory, my game theory. Now people that have never had a job might say, ain't that a good thing? It makes the waiters actually try to do their job well. Bro, ain't nobody wanna work minimum wage, period, bro, in this economy. Doesn't matter if I'm getting tips, all it takes is one bad day of penny pinching tips to be like, well, Scoob, I guess we have to eat whatever's in the fridge tonight. I should know. I used to be a waiter. I was a waiter for weddings and other events in my late senior year, and my wage was decent, $15 an hour, and for a high school student, that's pretty good. Plus, I only worked on the weekends. Man, this job was gonna be a breeze. But that was only because I was a kid. I ain't need that much in the first place. All I thought is, if I can afford food, sold. But to spoil the fun, most of the time, I did not get any tips or very little tips. And 95% of my gigs was at weddings, so the food was already paid for. I was giving these niggas free food, and I got nothing. And I was always all nice and shit. I was never mean. I was all like, hello, hot diggity day, what would you lovely people like to have? I thought I was doing a good job. I even shaved off my hair to be more presentable, which is something I still regret to this day. Don't cut the hair you love for no jobs. Unless it look like this, you might get no job with that. I did get tips sometimes. The biggest tip I've ever gotten was $40 from a table of old white women and a gay dude. And from then on, they became my target audience. I'd always pick the table with the gay niggas, cause I know they'd give me the biggest tip. And me complaining about small tips might sound like a trivial problem, but I'm talking about like in the grand scheme of things of this kind of job. Like if I was an adult with this job paying bills, taxes, rent, all that, I could not live like this. I know this because I had co-workers in their late 20s, 30s, 40s who said they couldn't take care of themselves with this wage. That's why they sold drugs on the side. That's why we should hold these businesses accountable.
Exactly.
To have higher wages for their employees. So they
No
don't have to
justice,
rely
no
on
peace
tips anymore. We must rise against this corrupt business practice. Who's with me? You're just saying this because you just don't want to pay tips no more. Well, duh. I don't like tipping. Who does? Who wants to pay more of their own money when they don't have to? I'm not a misogynist, a masochist. Wrong word. I am the other one. I'm not saying I don't tip. I do. But mainly because I want to at least try to balance out my good deeds with my bad ones when I'm in the pearly gates. I'm not trying to go to hell because I didn't tip my IHOP waitress who so happened to be battling cancer and diabetes that one time. I'm trying to get it happen. But if I gave zero, darns, dangs, or I would almost never tip. I would look at the bill, then pay the bill, then end it there. I would only tip if I received outstanding service, because, you know, most services nowadays are just average, you know, regular stuff. Nothing to point out, but you still supposed to tip. In a perfect world, I would only tip if the person is enthusiastically nice. Fast service, give me a back massage, and also pay for my food. Then I would tip. I can understand tipping delivery drivers because they also need the money to pay for their gas, but that can go with the higher wage argument that I said earlier. And if they show up mad late, then I don't have to tip them. We should bring back the 30 minutes or less or the food is free rule. I'd stop ordering food from Russia on purpose. Save myself a stack And like I said earlier, I know these people need these tips to survive. I know they have mouths to feed. I know, I feel you. But in the back of my mind, I know I have mouths to feed too. My own mouth. And tipping is slowly taking that away from me. Now I'm gonna starve. And remember earlier when I said tipping is not a foreign concept? Well, apparently it is to most countries. Every time I look in the comment section for a post regarding tipping, 90% of the comments will be from foreigners saying, well, over here in Timbuktu, Jumanji land, we never even heard of tipping. I didn't even know Jumanji was a real place, but it sounds like heaven if they don't tip. And it makes me think the people of the U.S. here are purposely fucking me with this tipping shit. It's to be expected we tip 20 to 25% of the bill here. You have a better chance pulling a gun on me and robbing me because that's the only way you're gonna get that much money out of me. And I've been seeing news reports about how there's a spread of self-checkout machines with tipping options.
Eat a dick.
Who the hell am I tipping? Mr. and Mrs. Walmart themselves? Why they need my money? Why they need a tip? Any self-checkout tipping machine out there could suck the tip of my pee-pee. That's what you could do. And like I said earlier, I do tip my delivery drivers and waiters. I do. But I hate tipping. I bloody hate it. If I could abolish it, I would. I hate it. However, I know it's the right thing to do. Or at least I was raised to believe if I don't tip my waiters.
I've been raised to believe a lot of bullshit.
Which
I don't
really believe now, but I begrudgingly admit tipping won't kill me. So I still tip. How much I tip? None of your beeswax. And even though I tip most of the time, I'm not gonna tell y'all you should tip. You could do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's your money. I don't give a fuck what you doing with your money. Don't tell me what to do with my money, and I ain't gonna tell you what to do with yours.
Like, I could be spending my money on helping the children in Africa and building houses there. But how else am I supposed to pay for my trip? I need money for my clothes, man. Those kids in Africa, they're not gonna pay for me. But yeah, those are my thoughts on tipping.
People love to tell other people what they should or shouldn't be doing with their money. Shut the fuck up. That's why you ain't got no friends and you are a loser. Because you always trying to dictate what other niggas is doing and always running your mouth and you're and stuff. But nobody likes you. That is why. All right, shut up. Let people do what they want to do with their money and you do what you want to do with your fucking money. That's how this works. Okay? Because I'm going to still do what the fuck I'm doing. Period. Anyway, funny video. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you've been watching. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.